Hello, I'm William Gallagher and this is 58 Keys, which as always is for writers. Writers like you and me who used to write on Macs and iPhones and iPads, although today especially the iPhone, and although today especially because of you. Apple has released the public beta, the public test version of the forthcoming iOS 27 for iPhone, and you should not risk using it. You should never risk using test versions of anything, but you're going to, and you think I have an excuse. Okay, I've been commissioned to write about this. I've been commissioned to write about the new macOS Golden. Okay, not the iPhone, but give me a minute. Find a justification somehow. Tell you what I think. Do please like, subscribe, or patronize me. Yeah, I do like that word. You know how much it helps. But look, you and I are writers. There is this iOS 27 public beta, which has a lot that is of use specifically for us. But we do also need to, get on with our writing. So let's put a timer on this. Let's in fact use the new iOS 27 timer. Swipe down for Control Center, tap the timer button, and now you've got this, well, just rather nice slider. Okay, clock is running. Let's quickly start with dictation because I can get this out of the way fast. I happen to prefer to type. I kind of think to the keyboard, but it seems to me the dictation is better on iOS 27 than it has been. I mean, I'm actually finding it hard to prove that to you with the examples. Ordinarily, when I'm doing this, Siri will actually stop me as I speak to check whether I meant, for example, what came up recently. Did I mean gardener as in the surname or gardener as in the job? And as you can see, it's not doing it now, and who knows why. There are still Apple writing tools, and they are still generally no earthly use to us. I mean, yeah, you're right. We craft a chapter. Of course, we're going to tell Siri, rewrite the whole thing for us to make it more friendly or something. But there is a live grammar checking that actually I've come to quite like. It seems to be better than Microsoft Word's grammar checking, or possibly I just mean less often irritatingly wrong. I get that this grammar checking whether I dictate or write, except of course obviously now when I want to show you. Yeah. I think this grammar checking is better than Grammarly. Now you may well disagree, of course, in which case I hope you will tell me so in a comment. But now if you do that, I can do this. Take this comment and make an Apple note with it. There you go. That's Siri AI. If you do install the iOS 27 beta, go to Settings, Siri, and tap to get on the wait list. Might only take a few minutes, took days for me, but it's worth the wait, however long it is, because the giant majority of the benefits of iOS 27, and there are so many, they are truly in the new Siri AI. For example, left field here, as happens, I've got a leaking sink, and you clearly need to know this. So, what is the name of the plumbing firm I use? Look at that. It would have got it from my phone app or my calendar, maybe Moments. I don't know, and I don't need to know. I couldn't remember the name of the company, and it got the answer for me. Or here in the UK, we have a thing now called Making Tax Digital, which short version is you have to file tax returns quarterly. And one thing I have to do right now is account for mileage. So when was I last in London? There you go. Oh, this one surprised me. I honestly thought I was being clever here when I thought of this to show you. Show me all cat photos. The thing is, I would have sworn to you that I didn't have any, but apparently, yes, I do. Not one thin clue why, but there you go. Okay, that thing with the mileage. As it happens, I was in London for work. I was at a Writers Guild thing at the House of Commons, and I took a photo. So, what is this? all of this is done. You can do all of this from wherever you are on the iPhone, whatever you're doing, in any app. One way, you can swipe down from the top to just type, or you can ask Siri, say its name, and or press and hold the side button, the sleep wake button, as you speak. Any of these, all of them, all fine. Don't bother doing any of this, though, with anything to do with music. I mean, at the moment, this way lies madness. Siri AI, it'll tell you if it asks that it can make playlists, or it can play this, or it can do that. And then if you ask it to do that, oh, no, I can't. Of course I can't. You should know that. It actually is sorry for any confusion. Like, it says you are the one confused, and you're absolutely not one tiny pixel confused. It's Siri that is wrong. Really, seriously, shockingly poor. And you can feel the annoyance, exacerbated annoyance, when you're in a car using CarPlay and all you can really do is plead with Siri to play what you ask. Breathe. Anyway, better stuff. Siri is also in its own app now, which is useful. Most things you ask Siri to do to find out, they are logged in this new app, so that you can go back to that app to later to ask more, to reread something. Not everything goes in there, and I don't know what the rule is, but I don't know, something small like what's the temperature. Siri AI will answer it, but it won't bother putting it in the app. That makes sense, doesn't it? Although, actually, saying that, side point, Apple's weather app has also been improved in iOS 27, and all I've really noticed is this set of 3 buttons, but they're good. They give me the temperature, rain, wind, and the first I'm dreading in the heat waves we're getting here in the UK right now. The second, the rain, I'm kind of longing for. And the third, frankly, there are times when I would rotate my house to catch any cooling breeze. And anyway, the camera app, well, I'm thinking of improvements. The camera app has also been improved for you and me as writers, certainly as researchers, possibly also just as curious, or own it, William, nosy individuals. But this brings me back to Siri AI, and the thing is, practically everything brings you back to this. It is that significant in iOS 27, and fortunately Siri AI is usually worth it. Now if I point the camera at something, I can swipe to a Siri button and then ask that thing of what is this, and what is this, and why would a writer want it anyway? Actually, thank you, Siri. I'm taking that as justification for having bought another one. Whatever you use this on, it's visual intelligence, whatever you point at. Visual intelligence, it's been here for a while on iPhones, but now it's in the camera app where you'll find it because it's in front of you and you'll use it. Instead of, it used to be you'd go through various different ways to open it. I mean, they're all fine. It was nothing difficult. It's just hard to describe because you did it in slightly different ways on slightly different iPhones. And ultimately, you could tend to forget that it existed. Whereas here it is in the camera. This is better. But speaking of photos, you can also now get Siri AI to extend them. There are other options to do with moving a subject so that they are looking at the camera, and they're slightly creepy and only occasionally works well. But this extension thing, you can do this extending, this widening of photos. For a use case, an example, I make YouTube posters for this 58 Keys channel, and if I extend an image I've got, that can give me more room for a headline. I do also illustrate most articles, all right, but I've not yet used that for this. I'm kind of uncomfortable altering press images, for instance, plus practicality. As clever as extending photos is, it takes a couple of minutes, and sometimes when you're on a deadline, there just isn't time for that. But it will get better, it will get faster, I will get more used to it, and extending photos will become just another tool we have on our iPhones, a tool that we use without even thinking about, a tool that we will use without thinking of the term AI, even though that is what this is, really. We already have so many of these tools and apps on our iPhones, and even without extending them and getting more of them, there are times when you and I need to buckle down. We need to, okay, if we've got to do something, do it quicker so that we can get on with the writing. Which reminds me, how's that timing going? Right, talk faster, William. iPhones, iPads and Macs, they all have this thing called shortcuts, which you may have come across, you may have ignored. If you've never used shortcuts, well, you might well now with iOS 27, or other way around, if you've already become addicted to writing out these reams of little instructions of what you want your iPhone to do and things like that, you can carry on doing exactly the same thing. But for simpler ones, yeah, you probably won't. Instead, you'll just tap this plus sign and describe what you want a shortcut to do. Now, that's fairly meaningless without an example, isn't it? So, okay, an example or two. True story, I'm writing a book. Every day I want my iPhone, or actually it happens, I think it's my Mac, shortcuts go between them, to automatically attach the manuscript to an email and send it off to myself as a backup. I just open shortcuts, press the plus sign, and write a description of what it is I want to happen. And then, actually, if that isn't quite right for some reason, I could describe a change I want. In truth, this is best with simpler shortcuts. How to explain it? Certainly things where it's just going to do one or two things for you. It can still go wrong. It can actually be absurdly wrong a couple of times, but most of the time it's right. All of the time, it's quicker to do it this way than fiddle by hand yourself. And then actually, when it's done, you can still go in to fiddle. For instance, I have done. I fiddled more with the book backup thing that I actually used, the one I made for myself, so just to show you. So I've specified which manuscript I want sent, but it's the same core idea. It just emails me a backup of that document every day without my ever doing anything else. It's a bit weird, actually. I'll be writing away something on the Mac. Suddenly there's this flash in the corner of the screen of Apple Mail starting up, writing around, gone. And it's like, yeah, anyway, but I feel safer knowing to back up something. But that's about writing, okay, obviously. And as we are writers, we are also readers. So you could, another example of shortcut, you could try this. Make me a morning summary of the news, weather, and my day. Done. Add that to my home screen, and I can just tap it to read what I need whenever I like. I do not know why I wanted to show you this, but apparently I do. When I put my iPhone on charge, say finally.
Finally.
Yeah, dialogue needs a bit of work there, a bit of delivery. Probably need to do some rewriting of the script. I'll think about that. But actually saying that, here's the thing. I have been using iOS 27 in the developer beta for a month or more, and I've stopped thinking about it. I now pretty much automatically use Siri AI on my Mac as well as my iPhone and my iPad, and I use it for more and more things that it would never have occurred to me to do before. Like that thing of what's the name of the plumbing firm. Another thing recently, what were the names of the two sources on that book that I for some reason blanked on? You do need to try these things to feel that they're useful, and also I think just to get used to having them. But you do, and you do. I'm not kidding about how bad iOS 27 is with playing music via Siri AI, but surely that will be fixed by the time this is all released properly. And that will be in September 2026, or possibly October, possibly. And if you have not yet installed the beta, well, then I think you are wise. And I think that you're also well aware that it's only a few weeks, isn't it, until this is going to be the official release on all iPhones. Buy an iPhone, you get this. Everything will have it. It is frustrating when it stops working. And if you ask Siri a question at first, it seemed to be wrong so often. But in the last few weeks, I've not had any problems like that. I mean, it does always answer very concisely, which may be a comment on our attention span, but apparently it's a decision Apple has made that Siri should always respond with something short as if it could be said in a single breath, as if Siri needs to take a breath afterwards. Can't quite see why I should be concerned about Siri's breathing, but okay. There you go. Apple's iOS 27 for the iPhone, plus iPadOS 27 for the iPad and macOS Golden Gate for the Mac. They all bring us all of these things. And the more I use them in my writing work, actually, honestly, the more impressed I am. It does just feel weird saying that when most of this is based on AI, and you know how crap AI is. But then Apple isn't doing a Google and claiming that AI will solve all diseases. I mean, Google literally said that aloud. They said that. And it isn't Apple doing an open AI and saying, oh, your jobs are gone, kind of thing. Instead, it's Apple providing us as writers with tools to do things that are useful to us when we want them. So in some ways, I think you can argue that's a small scale use of AI. But I think in others, it's the way AI should always have been. And well, maybe actually it's the way AI always was, behind the nonsense and the hype. So let me say one last time, plausible deniability here. You should never install a test version of anything on your only iPhone or your only iPad or your only Mac. And then let me stand back a bit while you go do it anyway. Seriously, it's worth the wait if you can wait. And how are we doing for time? Speaking of waiting, right. Time to just say thank you very much for watching. Now take care of yourself, write more, and I'll see you soon.